Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome, Amelia. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to be here. Serene Marketing and Amelia is one of our new sponsors for Nancy's World, as we call it. And we are so excited to have you here to help people with their social media, right? So
Yeah.
today we're talking about why their brand aesthetic is key to getting their interior design clients. And before we went live, I told you that my brand aesthetic has been looking fabulous and you guys have been working on mine. So tell everyone why this is so important.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to provide an example from recently that I experienced from within Serene. So just a few weeks ago, I had two discoveries all within 5 days of each other, two discovery calls with potential new clients. And both of them mentioned that the first thing that drew their attention to us was our brand aesthetic. They felt like, and these were two high end, high design, luxury interior design clients that I was speaking on these discovery calls with. And they felt like, because of our brand aesthetic and the presence that we put forward, they knew that we could continue the aesthetic they had established within their business without any hiccups. It was really important to them that they hire a marketing company that displayed the aesthetic that they want, to be displayed on their end. They want that same quality. They want that same level of messaging, tone of voice, branding. So it was just a reminder to me, I say it all the time that branding matters, but it was a tangible example of we had two potential new clients. Sure, they saw, more about us after they got into our brand and they liked our strategies and everything else, but it all started with capturing their eyes and their attention with our look. And it translates the other way. If you're an interior designer, and somebody is trusting you to come into their home with a certain level of creativity, aesthetic, value, quality, all of those things, it starts with displaying that in your branding. So that's really why I thought it was a valuable thing to talk about today, because it was a real life example that brought money in the door, from my business standpoint.
Yeah. And, with my profit insiders, I'm always telling them if someone's looking at your social media, it's also an indication about how well you run your business
Mm-hmm.
in their eyes. Like they don't know all the stuff that goes on in the background, whether they have someone doing their social media or whether they don't care. They just want to
Mm-hmm.
know that what they're presenting is what they can expect when they actually start working with you.
Right.
So
And first
get to be,
impressions matter. It's first
yes.
impressions do matter, and you can not, maybe you may not have the best first impression and you may be able to put forth, the best experience. However, they may not get to the experience if that first impression, doesn't capture them enough to move forward with having a call or consultation.
Well, tell
So,
everybody exactly what is brand aesthetic. So, we
yeah.
gave a great example as to why it's important, and all interior designers should be considering this when they're doing their public facing social media, how it's
Mhm.
being perceived by potential clients. But what exactly do you consider brand aesthetics? What they should
Yeah.
be thinking about?
Yeah, so it's a really broad term, but the way that we think about it is your brand elements. So your logo, your colors, your fonts, any brand photography that you have, photos of yourself on the job. I suggest everybody do a brand photo shoot session. I know that Nancy, you just did one at High Point with the girls at Flourish, I think. I
Mm-hmm.
recommend that everybody do one at least once a year. Those photos matter more and more. We're seeing that, for a while their social was really buttoned up with templates and, people were posting with templates and everything was so buttoned up, and we're seeing more personality come back. And that's where showing your face really matters. So, everything down from your logo to how you're showing your face. And it's not just in the look and appearance, it's also in your tone of voice and your messaging. Those are all brand aesthetic. They all play into the brand aesthetic. And then obviously your logo and, all of your brand elements play into your website. So having a website that translates your brand aesthetic and your brand elements accurately, a clean website, a website that's easy to navigate. All of those things are wrapped into brand aesthetic. It's really every piece of how you present yourself within a 10-second first impression would be,
10
and
seconds.
yeah, it's a quick, think about how quickly people scroll on social. If that's where they're going to discover you, you need a quick 2 to 3 seconds that's going to make an impression.
So pictures of yourself and what you working behind the scenes as an interior
Mm-hmm.
designer tends to make people stop the scroll. They get curious.
Yes. Absolutely. That tends to stop the scroll, more personality, and then making sure, brand aesthetic, making sure that everything is branded appropriately across platforms. So you never want somebody to go to your Instagram, land on your website, and feel like they're talking to a different person. You know what I mean? You want that same look across platforms. You want people to say, "Oh, I can tell that this is so-and-so's website because it looks exactly or similar to how they're presenting themselves on social."
Yeah,
So
I'll
just
even go as
making
far as
sure.
some people, they don't even look like themselves in the old pictures they have
Yes.
on their
Yes.
social or on their website. And I'm always like, you really need to update your pictures because that was you 25 years ago.
Absolutely. And obviously things change, right? We age, styles change, even the clothes that you're wearing 10 years ago are going to be different and maybe not speak to your audience and show that you're kind of up with the times as far as fashion and style. So for sure, all of those things matter. Any visual presence that you put forth is the brand aesthetic, falls
Okay,
under
so
that
your top
umbrella.
3 tips for making sure their brand aesthetic is on point.
The first thing I would do is to invest in your brand early on. So that doesn't mean spend thousands of dollars. If you're, I know when you're first starting a business, you may be on a tighter budget, and you should be conscious of that. You shouldn't be, going in debt, like, thousands of dollars to get yourself going on the brand side. But really, even if you're doing DIY branding, make sure that you really love it. Because I will get clients who did their DIY branding, which is fine, but they didn't even like it from the start. And then they don't even use it. They're scared to even put it out there because they're like, I don't like it. It wasn't professionally done. DIY your branding. But when I say put in the investment, that means put in the time, put in the energy to make sure that you really like it. It can evolve over time. You can eventually hire a brand designer over time. But my first tip, number one thing to do is put it's some level of investment, whether it's time or money. If you outsource it or do it yourself, put that time into your initial branding so that you feel comfortable putting it out into the world. Next would be making sure that initial branding translates to your website. Even if you're starting with just a one-page website, put some time into making sure everything aligns. The color palette, the fonts, all of those, your logo needs to be present. If you're having it, all those things need to align. And then the next would be to do the same thing with social. So social is it's your free way of marketing. It's where most people start with their marketing is social because it's free. There's, no cost to entry. So make sure that all of those things, the brand aesthetic across the board, is there. But number one would be to put some time into your branding initially, because if you don't, you're never going to have that confidence to truly promote it the way you need to.
Yeah, and I think people don't understand, even when you hire someone to do your branding, you are still the starting point. It's your brand, it's your personality, it's what you want to see, it's what you want to relate to other people. I remember when I hired my first branding company a while ago, one of the things they had me do is go to Pinterest and start to look at branding companies on Pinterest and the fonts and this and that and the colors. And I just started saving the look that I kind of liked. I did that over a week's time. And at the end of the week, we were really able to determine there's certain days I was in a weird mood that I picked really weird things. Let's eliminate all of that. But then there really was a pattern of what I was attracted to by way of color and fonts. And that was, like you said, invest the time or the money in the beginning and get really happy with your branding. I often hear people like, I'm not going to go for new clients until everything's perfect. And I'm like, please don't wait for it to be perfect. Like you said, even if you have a one-pager up there, but make sure it's consistent.
Yes, consistency is key. We hear that all the time. It's key just in marketing in general.
Yes. And Linda is reminding us, which is a great reminder, that everything should have a call to action also.
Yes, it should. Thank you, Linda. Great tip.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other tips today, Amelia?
No, I mean, that was pretty short and sweet, but yeah, I'd say that
I think it's
that was
important.
the gist. Yeah,
Yes.
it's important. And I love what you said about making sure, not trying to get to perfection. That I am a brand designer telling you that perfection is, I think you're saying is not perfect, but fabulous. Or am I remembering that
That's
correctly?
what I tell all my profit insiders. Stop getting stuck in perfection, even in your designs for your clients, right? Trying to get everything perfect. I have to keep looking and keep looking and keep searching. And in your brand, it's going to be, I'm still looking for the perfect font. I'm not sure it's exactly the right color. but you said it, like over time, like an artist, your style, your feeling,
Yes.
everything changes. So let yourself mature in your business.
Hmm.
My first branding was turquoise blue, really bright, and I don't remember the font, and I loved it for about a day.
Yeah.
I put up the new
A full
website.
24 hours.
Yep, I was like, this
Yeah.
is the greatest color. It so represents me. I
Yeah.
love it. And I put it up. I'm like, oh God, I don't like this. It's getting on my nerves already. And so I
Hmm.
waited a year or two and I rebranded because you're not going to not do business if your
Right.
branding is not great, but you're not going to attract as much business or the type of business you want if you don't really enjoy it yourself.
Yeah, and lean into it and make sure that
Mm.
it's consistent across the board. And you have to remember that your bar for perfect is going to change all the time. You know, once you achieve one thing, your bar for perfect is now pushed further and further. So I agree with the fabulous over perfection, and really make sure you love it in the moment, but that doesn't mean it can't evolve over time. I am a brand designer telling you that I hated my first branding. So, you know, and I wish I would have really loved it in the moment because it held me back from promoting my business. And if I had taken just an extra week to set something that I really loved, it would have been different from the get-go. So
Absolutely. All right. So
yeah.
allow yourself to morph and change over time, but
Hmm.
spend the time on your branding aesthetic to make sure that you're attracting the people that you want to attract because you
Yes.
love the brand. It's representing you exactly the way you want to be represented.
Hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
So tell everyone how to find you and what you can do for people.
Yeah, so we are serenemarketing.com. Also, Serene Marketing is our Instagram username. That's the social platform we are the most active on. We do everything. I say we're brand designers. We are brand strategists as well as just marketing strategists. So we do everything from, you know, anything that falls into the marketing realm. We help brands from that are startups that are brand new to brands that have been established a long time and need a new strategy or a new look brought to their business. So social media strategy and management, website design, print marketing design. We're going old school. We're doing a lot of print marketing lately, which is a lot of fun. But anything that really SEO, anything you can think of marketing wise, we have a full service team to help.
It's awesome. So tell everyone how they get started with you by visiting serenemarketing.com, which is above your head.
Yes.
But how do you
Mhm.
start with somebody so they understand the process?
Yeah, so you'd visit serenemarketing.com, you'd fill out our inquiry form, you would receive an email from me. We always have a discovery call, regardless of service that you're interested in. We always have a discovery call to establish, you know, what you need. And then from there, we move on with a custom, you know, approach based on your needs. So most of the time people would start out with, after discovery call, if they move forward, a brand questionnaire, and then we build out a whole strategy and go from there.
Perfect. Okay, you guys, I have to tell you, Serene Marketing is fabulous. If you're struggling
Thank you.
with your branding, your brand aesthetic, your marketing, get on Amelia's calendar because it's worth it. It's a free conversation, right? And
Mhm.
then possibly a whole new direction for your brand, for your aesthetic, so you can start attracting the clients that you're looking to attract. So thank you,
Yes.
Amelia.
Thank you, Nancy.
All right. We will see you next time, everyone. Go have a great Tuesday. I hope you all had a great Memorial Day weekend, and I'll see you later today with another live. Bye, everyone.